Nimesikia cats zikimiao. Ama nimesikia hapa ni illusion.
Mimi I do not have cats. I have a very weird relationship with cats. Yes. I'm actually a cat person who turned into a dog person. Yeah. I you know, it's ilifika tu time tu nikaanza kuona yenyewe mazee mapaka ukujudge. Mapaka ukujudge bro. Inatembeanga tu kwa house ile za aoni nikaa nasikia njaa.
My guys from the village when they visit me.
Yes.
If I don't want them to stay for long, just start talking to the cat.
Yes. Umepatia jina ya one of the ancestors
called Njogu. An elephant. Njogu.
It's called Njogu.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining this pod. As you can tell, when we are off script, we really go off script. Thank you once again for choosing to, hang out with us during this time. We really, really appreciate your presence here. Welcome to the Balcony View podcast. And today, as usual, we're going to pull one of the, very debated articles that Dr. Otis ameandika. But before we even go further, Dr.
Yo.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah. How's your week been?
I don't know.
Sinambe pia wiki umekuwa ukipigana na paka.
I don't know, sijui nianze kusema mwendo nimeumaliza.
It's been that kind of a week.
Maze, all prospects are ignoring me, pan.
You guys tell me about it, Maze. I don't even know what is changing in the market.
You guys are not replying to my emails.
Ati replying to my emails. Hata simu kuchukua, Maze.
Nima regret too.
Let me tell you, and this is where I think being a medical rep for me comes in very handy. Yo, man, I'm just getting I am sorry to inform you that this time we will not be going with you. Unaeka simu chini manzi, alafu unasema rejection, breakfast of champions, siku imeanza sasa.
Mpaka sengine najiuliza aje.
Siku imeanza.
Kwa nini hata nilitum? Why did I even send this email?
Yes.
Why did I even call this prospect?
Yes.
Ni ile siku. But anyways,
yes.
Because when these prospects come through,
yes,
there will be signs. You'll know there will be signs.
Yeah, hautaongea mob, but watu wataona tu. Wataanza kusema lakini daktari siku hizi umechange.
There will be signs.
Yeah. So today, dear listener, we are pulling our podcast from the article East Africa is not one pharma market, and why the smart medical reps think regionally and not nationally. Please remember, if you want to read ahead of us, just head straight to LinkedIn, type Joash Rabura. Under Joash, you will find a newsletter called Dr. Otis, and there you will find all these interesting articles. We do this because, first of all, we can. And then second of all, we do this to inspire anyone joining in the industry and anyone who has been in the industry. We do this because we want to share our experiences and hopefully we can make each other better.
Yeah.
Sindio, Daktari?
Kabisa.
Yeah. So the preface goes like, let me save you 3 years of struggling. If you've been doing medical sales across Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda, and you think it's one region, one strategy, you're not a rep. You're just a tourist with samples. East Africa is not a market. It's 4 different personalities pretending to attend the same meeting. And before you open your mouth in front of a pharmacist, distributor, or procurement officer, understand this. Data is your stethoscope. If you cannot diagnose the market, don't prescribe a pitch. Daktari?
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
First of all, let me talk to my brothers from DRC and South Sudan who felt that I did not include them.
And Ethiopia.
Ethiopia, yeah.
Yes.
Remember somebody was mentioning that Ethiopia.
Alikuja na ubaya.
Alikam na ubaya. Buda. Isa.
We are a 120 million population. Yes. Na ukatuacha nje article.
Yeah. The reason why I focused on these 4 countries is that So for Ethiopia, my experience in Ethiopia is not as deep as in these other countries. So I
Yeah.
didn't want to misrepresent Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And because I've been in Ethiopia like only twice.
Okay.
And in terms of the engagement with the farmer reps,
Mm.
and especially the people in the industry,
Yeah.
most of them imekuwa tu ni online. So I didn't have much insight on the same. So that's why I didn't include Ethiopia. But I'm still planning to do an article on Ethiopia.
I think also what the doctor is trying to say is, if you're listening and if you're from Ethiopia, invite us, involve us.
Involve us. Yeah.
We shall come.
Yeah, but I have a friend called Bekele, Dr. Bekele. Where
Yes.
you are. Cheers. Yeah.
And thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
So one of the things that for me I picked from this article is, if you're going to treat this market as a homogeneous market, that the market acts the same, you're going to fail. It is guaranteed.
It's guaranteed you fail.
Yeah. Where did you pick this insight from?
We were doing a product launch for another company. So the company is Swedish based. The client wanted like to have presence in these countries at a go at the same time.
Yeah.
So we tried to explain to them. I tried to explain to them that, hey, boss, you know, it's still a different ball game. If you go to TZ, the regulation,
Yes. The culture,
everything else is different. And honestly, I didn't have a budget like to cover all these countries like in a month. Imagine moving to all these like 5 countries within 2 weeks. And the next 2 weeks you have like to give them reports, you have to give them feedback all the same. So it was practically impossible like for me to visit all these countries. But at the end of the day, we wanted to make sure that the product is visible in all these countries. So as I was doing my market analysis based on experience, that is me working with people from these countries and also in these countries. So I was just writing to give just my honest view in the pharma business in East Africa.
I think one of the things that as a medical rep, if you do have the opportunity to be responsible for all these countries, is first of all, beyond anything, you have to respect the numbers. Yeah, because feelings don't close deals. In Kenya, currently, we're looking at about, I'm assuming that this is the GDP that you are working with here?
Well, this is the total addressable market.
Oh, total addressable
Pharma
market.
Side only. That is export.
Yeah.
That is export.
Yes. So just listen to these numbers. So if you're looking at Kenya, then you're looking at about 740 million USD. If you're looking at Uganda, then 450 million, Tanzania 400 million, Rwanda something between 75 to 100 million. These are not just figures. They represent buying power, competition intensity, portfolio depth, negotiation behavior. If you take Nairobi pricing mindset to Dar es Salaam, utalan kuhumblu. Kuhumbul. You will learn humility. It will come naturally. Hautaambiwa. Yes. Yeah. It will just wash over you.
Yeah. Well, and remember, these numbers were based on 2025 report.
Okay.
So that is the pharma industry report of 2025.
Yeah.
So the numbers could be higher. So for remember somebody claiming that these numbers were small, too low compared to like the industry. No, we didn't. So this is the total addressable market. That is the export market. Remember, you also have local production.
Yes.
So we didn't factor in the numbers for local production because the market share is already taken.
And also I find a lot of times data is not something that is readily available.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to work, and for anyone who does their research, and especially when you're coming up with strategy, and because strategy, the number that you find will determine heavily how your strategy goes, whether it will be a good strategy or a bad strategy based on the number that you find on the internet. Yeah. So sometimes finding these numbers is, a work in itself.
And that's why people pay premium.
Yeah.
for these numbers.
Yeah.
Just for you to get the exact numbers that you want, you have to pay premium.
True.
And understandably, the reason why it's not an easy thing, like coming up with these numbers, getting like doing your research.
Yeah.
It's intensive and it's capital intensive.
Yeah. But now let's just jump a little bit into the different countries.
Yeah.
What are some of the characteristics you noticed in these countries?
Like in Rwanda. Let me start with Rwanda. So Rwanda as a country is very organized, and the systems there work.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that in other East African countries nothing works. No, but in Rwanda it's very organized, and when it comes to the pharma space, so you'll find that so we have presence of multinationals there.
Yeah.
So quite a number of them. So I was surprised. Like if you compare the number of brands, that is original brands in Rwanda, vis-a-vis compare in Tanzania, and Uganda and Tanzania. If you compare per GDP and per population, so Rwanda is higher. Their presence is higher.
Yeah.
So they may not have volumes because you see their population is not that big.
It's also quite small.
It's small, but when it comes to availability of these brands, they are there.
Yeah. Which is very, very interesting. But again, like you said, the system is very, very organized. And when you're a big brand, and we know a lot of big brands, they talk about access. They're also looking at longer term strategies rather than, shorter term market entries and profiteering. So, and also looking at probably where Rwanda is in terms of its development, they are very focused on, how does the future look like with you on board? So how do these characteristics come into play if you're a medical rep and you're planning for this kind of markets? Like
to go in Rwanda, like, or in the entire East African countries?
So let's say you've sat down and your key deliverable here is to hack out a strategy for how you'll introduce and market a product in Rwanda.
I'll summarize. In Kenya, so the advantage that we have in Kenya is that Kenya is a different animal if you compare like to these all other countries. Because if you look at the private sector in Kenya, so the private sector is structured. I don't know, we can give thumbs up as to local bodies, such that even the regulators here. So they have put systems and frameworks where private practice can thrive. And also naturally the entrepreneurship thing within Kenyans. So it's a major drive, and also I don't know if it was being one of the major hubs in East Africa also in terms of the economy, because they have high buying power. And also looking at the countries that I've mentioned, look at the economy of the country, Kenya. It's the highest. So based on that GDP, it's a driver, and most of these companies are based in Kenya, from multinationals to local companies. Multinationals here referring to also companies from India, because people always think that multinationals are from Europe and America. No. Multinationals are also from India.
Definitely.
And like even in other parts of the world. So most of theirs, especially in East Africa, they have centered their operations in Kenya, and this gives Kenya an edge over the others. And when you come to TZ, there, you see, government tender system is huge. Because it is still a very socialist kind of state. That, I think that could be, and I think their government dominates a lot when it comes to handling. If you look at the entire healthcare value chain,
exactly.
So a government is,
the private market is not as strong as in if you're not doing business with the government, then 80% you're out.
We can say Kenya is liberalized. But Tanzania is less liberalized economically when it comes to the value chain compared to Kenya. Uganda is also liberalized in terms of this year, and you can see even from their numbers. So the private practice in Uganda is also huge. It's huge. It's massive. It's opportunity. And one thing that you realize is when you move across all these countries is sometimes when there's the saying, the African saying that when you're used to your mother's meal, you only think that your mother, you always think that your mom is the best cook. Not that you are disrespecting your mom doesn't know how to cook, but once you taste other meals from other places, you realize there is opportunity for diversity.
Yeah.
So when you go like to a place like UG, man, the industry, the pharma industry, manze go to
it's
Kampala.
different. It's different.
It's different and vibrant. You see the way you compare CBD, Sili
Yes.
type area.
Yes.
So Uganda also has such a market.
Yeah.
Man, they also they're aggressive per se, but you see Kenyan culture is totally different from them.
It
But
is.
in terms of business aggression,
Yeah.
Ugandans are huge, banner.
Yeah.
Ugandans.
Yeah, and I think just from experience, because I've also worked in all these countries, the attitude and I remember, I remember TZ, where we went, and in TZ things don't move as fast as the things move in Kenya.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot just enter and just get into detailing and saying what you want. No. There's a certain dance that you have to know how to do. Yeah, there's a certain language that has to be spoken, and there's a certain patience that has to be exercised in order for you to make moves and make progress in kind of this market. And I remember one of the one of the guys telling me, hey, umetoka wapi? Then I was just sio lazima Kiswahili itoke maze. So you project your kidogo sawa that ulitoka nayo shule. So I explained to him nini what we are trying to achieve there. The guy just looked at me for a very long time, and then he told me, umetoka Kenya? Anyi mtatumeza nyinyi. That thing has never left me.
That is swallow. So will you take over their business, or will you?
It has never left me. Because it's one of those, you're just on the ride home and you're thinking, hey, what did I do to give that impression? Yeah, but I guess it's in the culture, it's in the way the approach, the language, the history, how people know your country and how you operate, and the aggression that they let's say tie you to. Those things come into play. There's a story you once told me about what happened in TZ and the different cultures, how they differ from how we do business here in Kenya.
Bana wacha tu niende pale Tanzania. Watu ni wakarimu. Those people, we are aggressive. So from my POV, I think you are aggressive. I remember one time when we were doing a trade visit to a distributor. So mi nikaenda tu na ile kienyeji yangu, hey, just trying to banter the pharmacist and also the in charge over there. And like everybody was shocked, and like even other attendants within the same office were just staring at me like, so how dare you speak like this? For me, I didn't know that I sounded rude then. But within a few minutes after we had eased ourselves in the call, our local partner, like having conversations with them, trying, so sometimes being a Kenyan gives you an advantage. Then you are Kenyan tumewazoea. So and it really taught me on how to engage, to have those initial engagements, especially with people that you're not familiar with, especially a culture. Because you see, we are not a homogeneous continent. Yes, we are neighbors. We share the same language, but mannerism are totally different.
Yeah.
And this also translates to their distribution side. So just taking that and look at how even their procurement system works. You just don't go there raw like the way we do here in the country.
Yeah, which also brings me to, step 2, and this is in the article where you say you have to know what actually moves. Yeah, so let's remove the glamour. Infectious diseases still pay the rent in this region. ARVs, antimalarials, antibiotics, vaccines. Why? Because also we are in very, very different levels when it comes to, adoption of treatment, and also how much, how much we've won the different wars against the different diseases that have, passed by the region. So things like HIV, TB, malaria, in some of these regions, they still remain a very high burden. Yeah. So you said something, volume is not always margin. You need to know which battles build turnover and which ones build profitability. Could you break this down a little bit?
Sometimes as medical reps, so we tend to assume that the market is what we see, and most of the time our thinking is always local. In a local context here, I mean, just that because you're marketing a certain therapeutic area, so you tend to get delusioned to think that this is where the money is, neglecting other therapeutic areas. And especially if you look at, because here the private sector is so huge, and the margins are usually made within private hospitals, because of you can say like 100% of reps, if you look at the Pareto principle, 80% of their time is spent in private practice.
Going where the money is.
We go where the money is, and we focus with these government institutions, let's say, for tenders. And most of the time, the repeat business are usually just filling in the tenders. So we tend to overlook the capacity that they have, or the margins that they do. Because if you look at across the country, how many counties do we have? 47. Each county has a county hospital, and counties have sub-counties. Sub-counties have they are again subdivided to a lower levels. And also we have national hospitals around. So if you look at the medication that goes in there, so you may assume that you have a lot of share in it. Yes, you do, but remember, the cake is big enough for everyone. But when it comes to this segment, especially where we have high disease burden, these are high priority when it comes to funders, donors, and also governments. So a government will ensure that a hospital, for example, has stocked a painkiller and doesn't have maybe another therapeutic area that you think is lucrative. So with this in mind, look at the numbers and the volumes that are distributed across the country. Also, go to even our neighboring countries here, TZ and UG. The disease burden is the same. So we share, as far as much we are not homogeneous, we share a lot in common. So we're looking at HIV, antimalarials, and antibiotics. The market is huge for this. And who controls them? In terms of finances, we have donor partners. So they fund most of these projects. Look at the remotest clinic that you can ever think in area of the country. Let's say if you go to, let's say, the northern part of northeastern Kenya, there is a government clinic there. So you see, maybe sometimes we tend to focus only on negative news that you see these facilities don't have medication. But if you go down and do your checkups, you'll find that at least there is something. You see those dawas that munahesabiwa na mkebe. Remember, they have value.
Of course,
they have value because they serve the patient. You see, for you, you might not see the margins. They have value, and their volume. Just count this, spread this across the country and across the region. So, what do you see? So you see opportunity in terms of volume, and that is why these therapeutic areas is where the government mostly focuses on, because it is under primary care. And you see, governments most of the time cannot focus on at a tertiary level, because you see, at a tertiary level is very critical. We will move on. I think we'll have a segment on that. But you see, first of all, before sorting out tertiary or secondary levels, so you have to focus on primary, and that is the role of the government. And you see, because the private sector is handling mostly secondary and tertiary, we tend to overlook these segments, but this is where the volume is. If you look at the numbers, if you get the numbers from either, let's say, the KEMSA or the agencies that supply medicines on behalf of government, you will be surprised by the quantity that is moved around these facilities.
Yep, and I think one of the things that you also mentioned in the article is that distribution is where the real power is. Yeah, the person who has a good distribution, then it's the person who definitely ends up as the winner. And also together with that, one of the things that you also mentioned is also local manufacturing. Yeah, because local manufacturing can also affect quite a lot of things. It doesn't just affect price, it affects also the way the government views new products and entry products, and how it views who gets the tenders, and things like that. So just a few things to just consider when you're looking at the differences between the different countries in the different regions, because these do play quite a bit of part when it comes to you sitting down to make your strategy for entry or just marketing. One of the things that you talked about, and in relation to this, was things like pricing flexibility, tender eligibility, government preference, and brand loyalty, and sample access. For example, you've given a very good example with Kenya and Rwanda, where you say if you're fighting generics daily, in Rwanda you may be introducing entire categories. I find this very interesting. Jump into it a little bit.
There's a lot going on locally, and regionally, when it comes to local manufacturing. I see you've seen the conferences that are happening of late, like regularly, like monthly. There are sessions, conferences, symposiums, focusing on local manufacturing. And this is very key, because you remember, if you go back in time, so 4 years ago when COVID happened, you see what happened. Supply chain was destabilized. What does that translate to? Primary care is affected.
Yes.
You see, and most and governments, when they're in the business of protecting the interests of people, and health is usually a key pillar. Look at all government, health is always there. And how does this affect local manufacturing? You see, government will focus first on medication that is under primary health care. That is from my perspective. Because number one, it is if you look at in terms of local manufacturing, the barrier to entry for them is lower.
Definitely.
Lower in terms of they already have a ready market. And I'm not so sure, but so I'm assuming that in this kind of therapeutic areas, let's say for like antibiotics, antimalarials, we have capacity for that, because locally we have serious companies manufacturing these segments here, and it's just for the government to scale up the operations countrywide, and there are efforts along this. And how does this affect now the supply chain? Because if let's say, for example, you've won a tender for supplying an antimalarial, why should we import an antimalarial yet we have a local manufacturer here?
So these things, they definitely just come into the decision-making process. And as a medical rep or as a person who's managing these countries, these are definitely things that you have to take into a lot of consideration.
And I think there's also a quota system where local manufacturers are given priority. It's the best thing that they can do, because definitely with local manufacturing, of course, it will translate again to more benefits to us, because there'll be more jobs. Again, if local manufacturers produce more medicine, that means that they'll employ more pharmacists. So more quality assurance guys. And again, when they want their medication to reach the last mile, so they'll need intermediaries who are medical representatives. And what does that mean? So if many companies growth from local manufacturing, what does that mean? There'll be competition to look for high quality medical reps. What does that mean? It will raise the standards of pay within the industry. So if you look at the ripple effect of local manufacturing in the long term, it is in the best of interest that we have. And like in Kenya, Kenya's market, 30% of medication in the country is produced locally.
Oh, really?
30%.
Okay.
In the pharma space. We are not we are not in the equipment segment. We are talking about the pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
This is huge, and we are among the leaders in Africa by percentage.
Okay.
Of local manufacturing.
And I guess this means that there is also opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because 30%, I mean, anybody looking at it would be saying, okay, can this percentage grow even further? And of course, how much what does that mean in terms of the money that is available if, for example, you move it from 30% to 50%?
Yeah, because like if you look at the imports from China and India alone, we have 40% of imports.
Yeah.
Locally.
Okay.
So that means, okay, let's put it at 40 plus 30, 70.
Yeah.
So 30% is shared with the rest of the world.
Okay.
So if we scale now, let's say from 30 to, let's say even 50%, you see, the total addressable market is still the same. So who is the winner here? The locals.
Of course.
The local, that is more opportunities, more jobs. In fact, so I was arguing like this. If, let's say we just increase it to 50%.
Yeah.
And you look at the rate of unemployment in the country, especially people who have done health and science related courses.
Yeah.
Amen, kutakuwa na job. Wase wa biochem now they'll have places to work in. Wase wa microbiome, these people will have places to work in.
I like the way you're saying they will have places to work in. Right now, things are bleak.
Well, okay, yes, I know there are, but the competition there, man,
yes,
it's tough. So
yeah.
This is how significant local manufacturing is. And so what happens if the product is always available? It influences brand loyalty.
Yeah,
because people will recognize the brand because it is never out of stock.
Yes.
Yeah, and government will always prefer their own.
Definitely.
So
I mean, it happens in the other countries. So by extension, it should also be the same here too.
So you as an importer, let's say as an exporter now to the Kenyan market. So if you're competing, if you're in business development or you're in medical sales, and you are targeting these segments, and the government is in local manufacturing, just know that competition is tough. So you'll have to match the pricing locally.
Yeah.
Because I think government will also put some regulation,
okay.
Just to I don't know if it is active, such that maybe if some percentage of maybe a certain therapeutic areas should be available locally or produced locally.
Okay.
I think we'll be moving to those spaces, and now we'll be competing with other giants,
which is good.
We'll be competing with, say, South Africa, man. You've seen the local production in South Africa.
Oh, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I mean, a lot of companies who are also heading, who are coming into Africa. Yeah. It is a very big competitor for the environment. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're thinking, should we come to Kenya or should we go to SA? SA, of course, is much better because in terms of infrastructure and then also experience, they have they're a bit ahead of us in terms of like, for example, if you're going to set up a factory and you need people who can be able to do a lot of things, you don't have to import the labor because there are people who have experience already, as compared to I would say Kenya. Not that we don't have the experience, we do have the experience, but the experience coming out of school has been used to do let's say other things before you actually get to practice what you studied for. Maisha imekupiga maze, imekupeleka hapa na pale. Yeah, and a lot of people always end up settling in careers that are very outside of what they might have practiced very well in, said industries. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah, makes sense, and it gives education back its original value.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that it gives education back its original value because
Remember, you see, back then when we went to Campo,
Yep.
you see, we went to Campo believing that things will be fine.
Yeah.
Because education is an equalizer.
Yes.
It's still an equalizer.
Yep.
But back then, education, just you going maybe to Campo or having a higher level of education.
Yeah.
So it was like a normal equalizer, like for everyone. And you see, with this local manufacturing, what does that mean? Such that you don't waste what you studied in school.
Yep.
And it gives you sense of pride. There's also watu wanaongeanga mbaya ati hey, you went to Campo and did this course and there's no work.
Yeah.
The industries locally here is that hey, ziko na job zenye ulifanyia Campo.
Yeah.
So you'll be proud of what you did, and there will be no cost that is lesser than any other, and I think we'll be moving in the right direction.
Yeah. So let's just go back a little bit to the article. So we have the country personalities and what they teach you. So here you actually just went a little bit into the different countries. So you have Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda. And once again, we'll still apologize to all the countries that we that were not mentioned in the article. Yeah, and hope that you will definitely forgive us a little bit. So you give the different characteristics. For example, you start with Kenya and you say Kenya is competitive, it's sophisticated, it's unforgiving. You must differentiate branded versus generics clearly. You must know your clinical data deeply. You must handle objections very fast. Kenya exposes weak reps.
As a Kenya, it's brutal.
Yep.
Have you watched the movie 300?
The one with Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in Kenya, you have to assemble your Avengers. Like
Yes.
For you to win.
Okay.
It's brutal in a good way because of competition. Like everyone is here. From local manufacturing,
Yeah.
they want their market here.
Yes. And everyone is pushing.
Yep. So the outsiders who are exporters,
Yeah.
they want their market here.
Yes.
So the legacy, the brands, the originator brands, they want their market here.
Yeah.
Sometimes we assume just because a company has presence globally, we assume that Kenya is just a small market for them.
Yeah.
You see, small is relative, and your interests are totally different. Like each brand has different interests. Like just being available in Kenya, just being visible in Kenya alone, so gives you an edge. It can easily open your doors, like to other African countries. Similar thing, being in Uganda, so you can easily open doors to other countries. The same thing in Rwanda and Tanzania.
Very true.
So it's very brutal, and there's a very clear line between fight between the branded versus the generics.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about also Rwanda. You mentioned Rwanda is a precision lab, smaller market, very structured systems, reform driven. Here, positioning and clarity win. Over talking, you lose.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, over talk because somebody will think that you want to bribe them.
Yeah.
Hey,
it doesn't really help with the kind of CV that sometimes we carry around, does it?
Najua Kenya tumezoea. So you can end up on a bulldozer uambie mtu hey ni aje, we do this and this, and do like an offline kind of arrangement, and of a promise and deliver. Those kind of things. Because of liberalization. Again, the system is liberalized and the market.
This is our system compared to, of course, the other system.
I can't complain about our system. It's working, and it's working for the benefit of the patient. You see, at the end of the day, it all goes back to the patient. If the patient is winning, there's a thin line between justifying the end, or the end justifying the means.
Okay.
So if you look from those perspectives, it is brutal. Like in any other industry, in any business is always brutal, and the weak never survive. So when it comes to Rwanda with their systems, that structured systems, I really admire how they do it. A lot of people say that because of the geographical size and because of their numbers,
we should not consider it at this point.
No, people always come up with that excuse, my friend. There are very many other places with similar demographic as Rwanda. Yeah. And they've not implemented even a quarter of what Rwanda has managed to do.
Yes. Yeah. And currently also, I find that Rwanda is also moving very, very fast.
Very fast.
You have to have sort of like ears on the ground to just know, okay, this is what is happening, and especially in terms of regulations and things that touch on to, you being able to, first of all, have your product registered and also have your product marketed, and also things involving, like buying cycles when it comes to the government and things like this. Yeah, you definitely have to have those in consideration.
Yeah.
You also mentioned that being data aware is not impressive, it is necessary. Yeah. Can you move into these countries bila data?
No, you can't. But apparently, sometimes, so what I see in the market, people just move in blindly. They work on assumptions.
Okay.
Find someone assuming a therapeutic area, because it worked, let's say, in Kampala, so in Kigali it will automatically pick. Or because it worked in Dar or Dodoma, in DRC, we will move.
Itakuwa rahisi tu, itakuwa mboga.
Remember, the market dynamics, especially like as we said earlier in this country, are totally different.
Yeah.
And the importance of data here is it helps make you better decisions.
Yeah.
And what happens when better decisions are made early? Highlight the word early. You make better decision early.
Early, yeah. And this is in the planning process, like way before you've landed in the market.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in your article, you say, the data, it gives you credibility with the clinicians. It enables you to have smarter pricing conversations, stronger distributor alignment, because, you already know the network and what it looks like.
Yeah.
Also, when you're designing the territory and allocating resources, this comes in handy quite a bit. Faster objection control. And again, this can, lie within, just the culture. What does the culture tolerate and what it doesn't tolerate? Yeah, so you move from being a promoter to being a partner. And here, partnership, being a partner is one of the things that is highly, appreciated rather than, you coming there to say that this is what I want. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've observed, especially within East Africa, and in terms of partnerships, we have legacy distributors, and also we have distributors that are growing.
Yeah,
the number will always keep changing every time, and
true.
It's always going upwards.
True.
And if you have data, when you walk into a distributor, let's say you're walking to distributor Matata.
Yeah.
Distributor Matata, let's say for example, is doing 20 million units.
Yeah.
In terms of volume. So you're aware Dr. Vita Matata is doing 20 million volumes.
Yeah.
And this informs the decision in terms of the therapeutic area you want to partner with.
Yeah.
So you come and say, hey, Matata, see that you're doing 20 million volume in line A. So if I come in as a partner, so you may do up to, let's say, to 40 million.
Yeah.
Because I'm helping you expand in this other therapeutic area.
Yes.
Or even if it is not in a therapeutic line or area, so in a different region, so we'll partner. There is a call to action, like a certified call to action.
Yes.
In terms of the benefit for both of you.
Yep.
If I saw an example where somebody came just from Asia. So they wanted to partner in with a local distributor.
Okay.
They had no data. The only data they had is that they know this is a big distributor locally. You see, you might be a big distributor in but big gain is relative. You might be big in terms of when it comes to generics.
Yes.
So your brand reputation is associated with a certain category or this and this. So if I'm not aware, let's say for example, I come and if an exporter, let's say from Asia, comes and partners with you in an area where you are not strong, or comes up in an arrangement in a region where you don't have presence, what does that mean? That means that you are not going to give him an easy win. Or
of course not.
And when it comes to partnership, you see, everybody is there about numbers. And when the partner feels that you're not giving me the numbers that you had promised or we had expected, so the relationship always starts to go so.
Yeah.
And this again means that your product will not have the presence that you want. You'll be deteriorating. So with data, aside from getting more numbers, so you tend to get the market share that maybe you aimed, and all these other factors, and the working relationship becomes much better.
I mean, this is a very deep topic, and if you're listening to this topic and you're one of those people who's definitely working across the region, so you're in Kenya, you're in Uganda, you're in Ethiopia, you are in Tanzania, Rwanda, we'd also like to have you on the pod, just to understand how some of this decision making is currently ongoing, what is changing in the market, and how you're navigating the shift. Let's say, for example, right now there's a very big shift from infectious diseases, and you mentioned this in your article, to NCDs, which are becoming very big, and of course a very big market for a lot of the pharma companies. So if you're there and these are some of the problems that you're solving day to day, and you would like to come and just chat with us a little bit and tell us about how you are approaching this, we would like to definitely extend a hand for you to come, and of course we can be able to do part 2 of this podcast. If you're still listening up to this point, thank you very much. As usual, we would like definitely for you to subscribe. If you are also in the industry, we'd also like to come. We would also like for you to come and share your experiences. We do have a very wide range of topics that you can definitely jump into and have a little bit of fun with us while we learn at the same time. Daktari, so what are the things to consider as we start getting to the end of the podcast for someone who's looking to get into the East African market and get into it successfully?
First of all, just getting the data right. Because with data, that means that you already know what you're supposed to do, or what you can achieve. And this informs the decision that if you want to you want to position your organization or company in a certain therapeutic area, and you've done your homework right. So now you know which country to focus on, or which segments to focus on. Like we've seen, if your competition or if your competing range is we have local manufacturing in individual countries, then you are at a disadvantage. So you should move towards the categories that are not manufactured locally, because now you have an advantage. And one thing, especially when it comes to Rwanda, so when you look towards the end of the article, we saw in this emerging space where Rwanda is serious when it comes to telehealth. When it comes to digital health. And we can say that it's a digital health hub in Africa. Look at all the projects that are originating from there. Look from the maternal health projects. Look at all these other projects.
There's a very big difference between how we are operating, because in some of the markets, telehealth has taken a bit of time to take off. Because traditionally we are used to, let's say, for example, daktari, nimekuja kukuona. So I have to see you face to face.
Mhm.
because that is where the trust is built.
Mhm.
But in a country like Rwanda, they've embraced telehealth as part of the as part of the as part of the care, yeah, that they can be able to receive. And so this changes definitely the way you think about getting your product into the market, because you definitely have to take this into consideration when you're building your both doctor journey and patient journey, for example.
Yeah, it's not that like in Rwanda, like telehealth is like all over the country. So, but if you look at the infrastructure around it,
Yeah.
the infrastructure around it, they are organized, and one of the most interesting thing is that when it comes to like the EMR integration, you see it's very easy because of homogeneous population. When it comes to
Yeah.
infrastructure,
Yeah.
it's very easy to pilot systems in that country,
Okay.
and this gives them an edge because it is structured.
Yep.
Like if you go into, let's say, TZ,
Okay.
Rwanda,
Yeah.
no, TZ, Uganda,
Yeah.
and here in Kenya,
Yeah.
yes, the system is structured, but Rwanda is far ahead when it comes to that. And that's why you see most organizations, most companies that are piloting digital health projects,
Yeah.
giving Rwanda a priority, and also they're encouraging innovation over there, man.
Exactly, and I think even one of the biggest tech forums when it comes to health tech, and also new discussions on health AI, they're happening in Rwanda.
Yeah.
Yes. So as we get to the end of the pod, final thought: East Africa is not just a selling zone; it is a strategic classroom. Kenya teaches you about competition. Uganda teaches you about relationships. Tanzania teaches you about process, and Rwanda teaches you about precision. If you treat all four the same, you will struggle in all four. But if you understand the terrain, you don't just sell medicine, you sell insight, and insight travels further than samples ever will. Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a lesson that you will have to learn. It's like, one of those games. Before you go to the next level, you have to clear this level by doing some things, learning some things, taking them in, and then these same things are applicable on the next level and more. Yeah, so this is ideally what you're saying this market is like. I want you to talk a little bit to let's say as we close, to someone who right now is sitting somewhere and they're thinking, I've had very good success, for example, in Europe or in India, and now they're thinking, okay, I want to come to East Africa.
Yeah, wow. Just ask me a question somebody asked me, I think is it last week?
Yes.
Because you see the illusion that like everything is happening in Africa, and like Africa is a virgin market when it comes to very many things.
Yes.
And so one of the wrong perceptions that especially people from outside Africa have is that some of them, I'm not saying most of them, some of them have this perception like Africa is a green, a virgin space when it comes to the healthcare industry. That they are coming with new things. They are the Christopher Columbus with Wi-Fi. They want to discover something new, stuff like that.
I will have to use that somewhere. Christopher Columbus with Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Because they come up with a lot of innovations, a lot of solutions, something, and it's already here.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, it's a global village. So anybody in whether in Europe, whether in Asia, just across the world, just know that whatever is in your country, it's already here in
probably
Africa.
we already have it.
Not probably. We already have it.
Most likely we already have it.
Anything. Mention any technology. Mention any health information system. Mention anything. Mention any drug, any medicine. It's always here. Even if we don't have local productions, it's always available here.
And it can be found.
Africa, we are resourceful. We have the resources. So now, what happens if you're not from here and you want to come to Africa?
Okay.
And maybe join the healthcare space. There are also opportunities here. Opportunities are expansive. The cake is bigger for everyone. So when it comes to at a tactical level and also pay at innovation level, so you can always come with your ideas, new ideas. Just before you, let's say you try anything new, just confirm if somebody else is doing it. And if something is totally new, why not launch it in Africa? Because at the end of the day, it's not always about you. You cannot have an innovation that you think it's all about you. The most important thing is who is it helping. So if you have that in mind and you know that the solution that you have, whether it is medicine, whether it's a product, whether it's a system, and you want to join in Africa, there are opportunities here. So, but don't have that in mind that because it is green, I have an expertise here, or unless maybe you are coming to your sister company here, or you have networks. Because you see, when you have networks, it's easy just to...
It's a bit easier.
It's a bit easier. But with the fragmentation that we have around here, if you just come here, I'm assuming that you don't have any connections, you don't have raw, you will just hustle like any other African. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ari, for another fantastic episode, just diving into one of your articles and, just learning more. For all the people who have tuned in, and if you have tuned in up to this point, we just want to say thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you so much for just liking the podcast, because we will assume that you already like the podcast. And thank you so much for subscribing, because I'm sure you'd never get to this point if you're not a subscriber and if this information is not interesting to you. And again, we will continue just pushing these invites for guys to just come and hang out with us. This whole process is a learning process, and if you are an expert in any of these fields, we welcome you to come and just pod with us. Daktari, wataka kufunga kusema aje sasa?
Especially for those us in the space, in the pharma space.
Yes.
Let's not just think about Kenya. If your product can move in Kampala, or in Uganda or in Addis, take it there. If your product is in Kampala, or if you're from Kampala, and you can move your product in Nairobi or come here, we are waiting for you. So we are brothers. Remember, we are brothers. And one thing is that if you look at the ecosystem that we are in, like we all have that capacity, like to push products across the borders. And so what happens is if everyone wins, what else do you want?
Very true. And I think the final winner, or the biggest person who wins, is the patient.
It's the patient
at the end of the day. If we can be able to provide good medicines at good prices, and also maintain availability, it means that definitely we are doing the Lord's work, saving as many lives as possible. And on that bombshell, Adios, muchachos. Don't forget to visit our LinkedIn page. And just search out for the Dr. Riotis newsletter. Pale you'll get where we share insights, not just medical sales related stories, so what's happening in the pharma industry, and more importantly, the Kienyeji Promax stories. So where we explain what it takes to work to be in the trenches of this industry. And with that, again, good evening, good day, from wherever you're listening. And again, just remember to follow as we drop new episodes, and please like, share, and comment with people in the same industry. Ciao.